Hello and welcome to VMTV Vaults with myself, Kyle Diamond. My guest for this episode is Mr. Deniz Ilbay. Deniz is a former professional boxer who had 25 fights in boxing, going 22-3, and has now transitioned into MMA, which is very interesting on its own. He is 2-0 in his MMA pro career. Both fights have come for EFC, both fights first round finishes. So without further ado, Mr. Deniz Ilbay. I think that the most interesting place to start is the fact that you were a former boxer and then you transitioned into MMA, because at the moment there's a lot of talk between boxing and MMA and comparing
Yeah.
them, and you've gone, I guess, kind of the opposite way to, I guess, the way that the chat at the moment is. What was it that made you step over into MMA?
So the first thing why I stepped to MMA was in Germany. Is it so if you lose a fight in boxing, everybody's talking about, yeah, is he a good fighter? Can he has he a bright future or not? Just because of one loss, and I was a former Muay Thai fighter, and in Muay Thai, is it like in MMA? If you lose, it's okay, but if you give the people a good fight, it's sometimes it's better than to win a bad in a bad way. You know what I mean? In the wrong way, and that was, yeah. I mean, since 2019 or 20, it was in my mind that I talked with my dad and I said to him, let us switch to MMA. And he said to me, okay, let us wait. Then COVID-19 comes into our plan. And yeah, last year in, I think, March, I had my last boxing fight in England. I lost it via points. But after that, I was waiting for MTK to give me a fight at I think super lightweight, but they don't text me or they don't call me. And then I said to my dad, okay, I will talk with Ivan, with Tommy, and we start with our MMA career.
Hmm.
So that was the main thing, because of, if you lose one fight, nobody's talking about you, And in MMA, it's so, if you lose a fight, but you give the people a good fight, it doesn't matter if you lose. So
Yeah.
it goes on.
Was it very much like a nature then? Like you said that your management didn't get back to you after that loss. Was it like doors kind of start closing once you lose in boxing? It's very much like you pick up a loss and suddenly people don't want to talk to you as much about these next opportunities. It does, like you say, it does make a really big difference in boxing. Whereas in MMA, it's kind of like, oh well, on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, and it was for me, it was good that even if I lose one fight in boxing, the people always talked about me, because
Mhm.
even even that I lose the fight, it was a good fight. I mean, if you look on the last boxing fight against Louis Crocker, I think in the fourth round he knocked me down, but one round later there was just one little step and I would catch him with a knockout, So the people was always talking about, also after my loss in Vegas against Gidios Kavliauskas, people was talking about me. Then also, if after I lose in Norway against the Argentinian guy. So that wasn't the thing that I changed to MMA. It was yeah. I'm how can I explain it? I lost the fun in the boxing sport, because MMA, it's like I said, it's the best sport in the world, and you have the best athletes. And I never really closed the boxing door, but for me now, it's the time is with MMA, and I have a lot of fun. And I think for the next time, for the next few years, it will be MMA that will play a big role in my life.
It's crazy the way that boxing does that. I've always found it baffling. Like, why do you think that is? Like, your record in boxing was 22-3, which if that was an MMA record, that would be incredible. Like 22-3 in MMA, you would be being talked about as one of the best guys on the planet. And
Yeah,
in boxing, even just having a one loss on your record is like suddenly you're not a good fighter anymore. I don't get the
yeah,
mentality of it.
yeah. Also, that's the thing, and exactly in Germany, it's really crazy. If you have one loss in your record, everybody is thinking about you. If is he a good fighter? How is his future? And like I said, in MMA, even if you have one, two, three, I mean, look at it's a big name, but look at Nick Diaz. How many losses he have? But he's the craziest guy on this planet. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So, and in boxing, uh, it's crazy how it changed over the years, and everybody wants the Mayweather record. You know,
Mm-hmm.
the 50-0, but there are just a few guys on this planet that can have a record with an O behind their fights, you know. And yeah, in the last few years, MMA was bigger and bigger in Germany, became bigger and bigger, and that's crazy. It's that's nice.
The big thing that keeps bringing boxing into conversations about MMA is always to do with pay. I know that boxing it's always a strange thing because like you look at an undercard compared to the main event, and there's always a lot of difference. But how have you found that transition in your career from being paid as a professional boxer to being trained as a professional mixed martial artist?
Yeah, it's difficult because my manager even told me if you bring your if you bring people to your fight and also pay-per-views,
Hmm.
you will pay it like Conor McGregor, of course, or like in I don't know Masvidal or
Mhm.
whoever, I don't know. But if you don't have the charisma and the character and everything, people will not watch you fight, and it's yeah, it's clear that you not make the big money. But what I have learned from changing to MMA from boxing was in my first, I think, 14 boxing fights, I did not make one penny.
Mm.
It was we must pay it for our opponents, you know.
Mm.
So and in MMA, yeah, it's crazy. Sponsors, we are still searching for sponsors, but they come to you and say, you have an MMA fight? Yes, of course. Okay, I want to be a sponsor for you, you know. So and step by step you can make money. And
Mm.
yeah, if you see in the UFC or other organizations, even the lower ranked fighters, they get paid with 15,000 and bonus, you know. But in boxing, if you have somebody on the undercard, I mean, I can talk over that. It was not the biggest payday for me in Vegas, you know. So that was crazy. So, but I said, okay, let us do this step. It's a journey. It's Vegas. So I'm ready
Mm.
for this guy. Maybe we can open another doors. But I think people they earn much better money in MMA than in boxing.
Mm.
Yeah, that's my opinion. You know.
Yeah, yeah, I get what you mean. I think there's two sides to it, right? There's always two sides, and when you get a guy like Tyson Fury or something, yeah, he makes
Yeah,
more
of
money,
course.
but he's incredibly rare, you know.
And he's
Yeah.
also heavyweight. You know, in heavyweight,
It's true.
the it's another level. You know,
Mm.
you have the heavyweight fighters in boxing, and then also you have the lower ranked fighters, maybe from yeah, we started welterweight to middle or super middle, you know, Canelo also. But like I said, these guys are stars, you
Mm.
know, that are not only boxers, that are also role models, superstars, And
Yeah.
of course, if you look Tyson Fury against Dillian White, how many people attended in the stadium? 94,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Mm.
That's
Yeah. Yeah, it's a strange conversation to be having, but yeah, that's interesting to get your take on it. The last thing I wanted to ask you about was, you've had the 2 fights now, both in EMC, both first round finishes. So I obviously that's great to start your career with back-to-back first round finishes. But is there a part of you that is ready to get a bit more time in there? Kind of, obviously I know that you said you had a Muay Thai background, but it's still a big jump to go from after having 25 professional boxing fights to then jumping into a cage. So is that kind of the plan going forward? I would imagine is just keep getting those performances in.
yes, of course. And I know that this question will be asked someday. And even the last fight, I think one or 2 weeks before the fight, Ivan take me by the side and said to me, "Look, there is a Brazilian guy with 2-1. He wants to fight against you." And I said to Ivan, "Okay, let us do it." And he said to me, "No, it's a little bit too early for you, because maybe in the stand-up you will kill him, but he will not stay with you in the striking game, because if he will see that you are a better striker than him, he will put you down." And I think it's good that I have some guys like my wrestling coach, Max Schwind, and Leo Zada, my grappling coach. And I think I also want better opponents in the next fight. I talked to Ivan. I said, give me better guys. So I'm ready for that. Even if I lose one fight, hey, no problem. Okay, that's the game. But Ivan told me, with time and hard work, everything will come to you. And so for me, it doesn't matter. Also, 1 week after my first fight, I had the chance to fight at KSW against the Polish guy. But Ivan told to me, "Look, he's a grappler. You're a stand-up. Maybe you will kick his ass, but if you see that you are a better striker, he will put you down, and your grappling is not on his level." So I drive 2 times a week to Düsseldorf. It's 45 minutes driving with the car to the gym and back to home. I'm ready for that, and I will work hard every day. And like I said, for me, it doesn't matter if I lose one fight or not. I will give my best, and let us see what the time will bring. I'm ready for everything.
Sweet. Thank you so much for your time, man. All the best.
Thank you.
All the best for the next one. Buzzing to see you back in there, and have a good rest of your day, man.
Thank you.
Sweet. Cheers, mate. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for checking out this episode of VMTV Vaults with myself, Kyle Diamond, and of course our guest, Mr. Deniz Ilbay. We are so excited to see Deniz back in the cage in EMC. They are doing some big things in Europe, so keep an eye over there. And keep an eye on VMTV. Hit subscribe, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, but make sure you don't miss the next one. And of course, I will see you then. Goodbye.